Battistoni and sprinkler dude about to hit the Pacific Coast Highway for what, like an hour?
Everybody's learned about Wi-Fi, or everyone has learned about HydroWise, right? And Centralis, and we know we can make smarter decisions faster remotely. However, all of it means nothing if you don't upskill yourself in the world of connected devices. Now, I know with absolute certainty, after the last couple of days that y'all have been here, that if you're interacting with your clients in the field, face to face, and they're asking you a question about irrigation, your chest is out, your shoulders are back, and you speak with confidence. You're peacocking. And the reason you're peacocking is because you know with absolute certainty that you know more about irrigation than the person you're talking to, right? Fair statement? How many of you feel as confident when it comes to Wi-Fi? Okay? A couple of the fellows in the back. This track was spawned out of necessity, and it was spawned out of guys like myself, the guys in the back of the room, our FSMs, and you read it looking like absolute idiots in the field so that you don't have to, okay? Met with a few different home automation companies. I like to call myself a knuckle dragger. We're trying to say now we're dirt surgeons. We're getting better, right? Follow this script, and you will never look stupid in front of your clients. So with that said, this is Wi-Fi for green industry pros. What you need to know to look like a pro in years is what we call a dual band router. I want, when you think of router, I want you to think about radio, okay? Because it's radio frequency. So you've got dual band, meaning two channel, 2.4 gigahertz, which is a unit of measurement in the billions, and 5 gigahertz, okay? Gospel, according to Battistoni, is 2.4, and don't look back, and I'm going to pack it in the next slide. Right now, there are only, out of those 36 Wi-Fi controller manufacturers, there are only 2 pieces of hardware that operate or talk on 5. You know, it's no different than your Nest thermostats, your Ring. I think Ring just came out with the 4th generation that now talks on 5, but the last 3 have been 2.4 exclusively. And we're going to unpack that for you right now, okay? So when we get in here, this is a visual representation of the distance that radio frequency travels from the wireless access point. And it's just a fact that 2.4 gigahertz travels 3 times further from the router than 5 gigahertz. Now, sometimes there might be a misconception like, I gotta have 5. Look, if you're a gamer or you're streaming movies, 5's your Huckleberry all day because it's a lot of data. Like it's like Highway 5 here in Southern California. It's 7 lanes each way. A lot of data uploaded or downloaded at one point in time. Wi-Fi irrigation controllers are low demand data. We've hitched wagons with 2.4 for that reason, as well as the fact that it travels 3 times further, knowing that our hardware is typically not close in proximity, okay? So those are the fundamental differences between 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz, right? Now, think about it like AM and FM radio. I want you to think about 5 gigahertz like FM, and I want you to think about 2.4 like AM. And you guys got into the 2-wire stuff, so I'm just going to pop all this up so you can see it. Again, when you go on that vacation with your family and you're listening to AM radio, you can pick up that channel 3 hours from home, right? Think about 2.4 like AM radio. It's just a long old 2-lane highway, right? Not a ton of traffic on there, go a country mile, and that's just like 2-wire, right? Conventional irrigation, 60 hertz, positive and negative, 60 times a second. We get voltage drop happening, 18 gauge cable, can't go more than 1,000 foot. But how come on 2-wire cable, we can go 10,000 feet on 14 gauge 2 conductor? Because we are slowing down the hertz scale, right? And that reduces the voltage drop. So very similar. Here's your 5 gigahertz, can't go as far, doesn't penetrate walls as well, doesn't go through people as well, but man, can we get a lot of data uploaded and downloaded quickly. That's like FM. 40 minutes from your house, you lose FM. It's gone. AM's still there. So it's just a good reference point in your head in case you forget and a client asks you and you want to be able to speak intelligently. I like to draw correlations to things that are universal throughout all homeowners and will resonate with everyone. Okay? So now, sometimes, it doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. And when it does, this is a great opportunity for you to look smart in front of your client. And that's what I want. I want to make sure your relationship with our brand is a profitable one. So 5G, you hear the term 5G sometimes, right? 5G stands for 5th generation mobile network. 5G is not in the same section of the library. It's not even in the same library as 5 gigahertz, which is a radio frequency measured in the billions. Okay, so if a customer says, "Oh yeah, can we hook this to my 5G?" You're like, "Oh, pump the brakes. Excuse me, I think so. 5G is actually cellular, and what that pertains to your smartphone. But as your wireless access point, you're broadcasting radio frequency, and that's measured in gigahertz, right? That's how you know what I mean. That's a perfect opportunity for you to let the customer know you're smarter than they are in a polite way, and reaffirm that they've hired the right organization to do the job. Okay, so now, if it was 2017. I'd still be 5'6". Okay, still be bald. And I was out installing a Wi-Fi irrigation controller. What I would do, and if I was training y'all right now, I'd say, hey, pull out your smartphones, right? Open up Wi-Fi, and then literally take your smartphone and set it on the cabinet of the controller that you want to replace, right? And if you got full bars, man, you're good to go. If you're missing just one bar, doesn't suck, right? Over here, this is kind of the no-fly zone. However, Apple and Android have different quantities of bars, right? Okay, so that got confusing. Well, Kevin, I'm an Android guy. How many bars? I got 2. You know, well, Apple has 3, Android does 4. Outside of that, unless the SSID, network name, right, we're upskilling, unless it tells you it's 2.4 or 5, which would actually have to be put in there by the homeowner or the ISP when they set it up, I don't know if it's 2.4 or 5. And here's the issue. Hardware will recognize 5. And you'll look real stupid when you put in the password and you're standing there for 2 hours while the wheel of death's spinning, right? The homeowner's going, oh, wrong guy. Didn't hire everyone for this one. Okay. So it wasn't, with what we knew at the time, it was not a bad, it's a primitive methodology. The way home house automation specialists and IT specialists measure it is a little different, okay? They measure it in something we call RSSI. Before I take you down that rabbit hole, and just hang on, I will land the plane. What you need to remember, 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi is always going to be channels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or 11. That doesn't change. It will never change. Okay? Especially if you're an Apple user. Remember that. If you're an Android user, take a nap. They got a better app. So, when we look at it, within those 11 channels, the ones that are most desirable will always be 1, 6, or 11 because they're what we refer to as non-overlapping channels. When we go through the troubleshooting portion, I'll break that down. But just make note, 1, 6, and 11, most desirable. Okay. Gospel according to Kevin, when you are running a test, which everybody will have an app on your phone to run the test at the end of this, is we want to be -70 in our RSSI, which RSSI stands for Received Signal Strength Indicator, not really super strong internet, but kind of one and the same. And with a representation of smiley faces, again, -70 or closer to 0. If you take your smartphone and you go home from this trip and you set your smartphone on your router, on your wireless access point, you're going to read about -30. That is the best you will ever see. You're never going to see 0. -30 is like perfect, okay? Anything beyond -70 is your 1 bar, no bar territory. You're going to connect to it, but here's the problem. If you don't have a conversation with your client before you hang that controller, it's going to drop off constantly, and they're going to go, it's your fault. So you need to address it on the front side. With that being said, this particular website, they argue with me a little. They say -70, not so strong. I believe -70 is the edge, personally. They say -67 or closer to 0. So 6 one, half dozen the other. We're arguing about 3 decibels. It's not a big deal. Okay? I put this in here because anybody see The Predator? Like old Arnold Schwarzenegger movies? Predator vision, right? Okay, so this is a GPS view of a mesh network. All right? Can anybody guess? So this is how far that Wi-Fi signal actually travels from the wireless access point. Can anybody guess where -70 is?
Dark blue.
Right there. That's the edge. So this is how tempting it is, fellas, right? That's -70. You can pick up that Wi-Fi almost twice the distance from where -70 is to the wireless access point. You could read a signal out here. This is your -80s. This is your -90s. This is your no-fly zone. This is if you connect a piece of hardware out here, you're absolutely going to get calls daily from your client thinking you did something wrong, and you did. You installed a piece of hardware in a spot where it's intermittent Wi-Fi without having a conversation with your client first. Okay? So this is the no-fly zone.
Hey, you guys are back.